For some, drinking plain water is not enough. Beverages are an important part of our lives. We select them for lots of different reasons: taste, energy, boredom, or to cool down and even warm up. From fruit juice to fizzy drinks, having a variety of things to quench one's thirst has become a must-have for people around the world. Over the last 20 years, beverage companies have progressed from regional enterprises to corporate giants with the help of mass production techniques. Oh, hello again and welcome to another edition of Bazaar, the program that explores Iran's industries and all sorts of things related to its national and international markets. Today, we will check out Iran's food and beverage industry. We wanted to see just how this market is doing, so we decided to visit a company that produces these items. So, grab yourself some beverages and let's get started. Beverages Company was first established in 1966. It produces a variety of beverages, including carbonated fruit juice and energy drinks. But it is most famous for its non-alcoholic malt beverages that come in a variety of flavors. It sells its products under 11 brand names. For the last 20 years, this company has been active in Iran's stock exchange.
تمهیدات خوبی برای ارتباط گیری با مراکز مرتبط داخل و خارج، اتاق‌های بازرگانی، اساتید و دانشجویان و مراکز علمی و تحقیقاتی کشور و حتی مدارس گرفته شده تا علاوه بر استفاده از پتانسیل‌ها و توانمندی‌های ایرانیان عزیز بتونیم تصویری دقیق و واقعی از شرکت بهنوش و تلاش‌های این شرکت در حوزه سلامت و مباحث محیط زیست ارائه کنیم.
Currently, the company is one of the biggest producers and exporters of beverages and non-alcoholic malt drinks in Iran.
ما در بخش تولید نگاهمون صادرات محور هست. به کشورهای همسایه، کشورهای CIS و اروپایی صادرات داریم. خوشبختانه تونستیم بیش از چند میلیون صادرات داشته باشیم و آمادگی داریم که با فروشگاه‌های زنجیره‌ای بزرگ و بین‌المللی در کشورهای دیگه همکاری بکنیم، محصولمون اونجا عرضه بکنیم. در بخش سرمایه‌گذاری خارجی آمادگی داریم که در فعالیت‌های تحقیقاتی و توسعه بازارهای صادراتی و بحث‌های پژوهشی همکاری بکنیم. کشورهایی که مسلمان‌ها اونجا حضور دارن، محصول مشتری بدون الکل ما از استقبال خوبی برخوردار هست.
The corporation received its license and permits from the Bureau of Standards of Iran and the Food and Drug Organization of Iran's Ministry of Health.
شربت فروکتوزی که داخل محصول مورد استفاده قرار میگیره از دانه‌های ذرت به صورت طبیعی استخراج میشه. کنسانتره‌های طبیعی که در داخل شرکت مورد استفاده قرار میگیره از میوه‌های طبیعی به صورت به قول معروف در واحدهای تابعمون خودمون این کار رو انجام میدیم و کنسانترهایی که در داخل نوشیدنی استفاده میشه مورد تایید واحد کنترل کیفی قرار میگیره. کلیه فرآورده‌ها و محصول نهایی تحت نظارت ادارات نظارتی من جمله معاونت غذا و دارو دانشگاه علوم پزشکی ایران و اداره استاندارد استان تهران مورد رصد و بازبینی قرار میگیره.
In order to maintain its competitive position in international markets, this beverage company also adheres to strict international food safety standards. It has received various ISO permits for production and operation. But that's not all. This company also has a share in the international halal market.
کلیه استانداردهایی که لازم هستش رو ما تونستیم ظرف این چند ساله اخذ کنیم. ایزوهای کیفی، انواع ایزوهای ایمنی مواد غذایی، HACCP، مدیریت کیفیت و همه ایزوهایی که به قول معروف تو این زمینه همه دوستان استحضار دارن.
Beverages has a highly advanced quality control department which analyzes and regulates all stages of production and ingredients. The company also has a large research and development department. These departments are both equipped with the latest technology and modern machinery necessary to get the job done.
توی شرکت بهنوش مرکز ما محصولات شیشه، قوطی و پیتی 1 لیتری رو تولید داریم. ما محصولات رو از مواد کاملا طبیعی استفاده می‌کنیم. مالت و جو و کنسانتره های میوه. این مواد بعد از اینکه مورد فراوری قرار گرفتن در واحد فراوری های شرکت آماده میشن برای اینکه به سالن‌های تولید منتقل بشن. تایید کنترل کیفی گرفته میشه، مایع ارسال میشه به خطوط تولید. در خطوط تولید شیشه ها، بطری ها، قوطی ها و یا پیتی که وارد سالن میشه در ابتدا شسته میشه، بعد پر میشه و دربندی میشه. بعد از دربندی شدن محصولات کلیه محصولات وارد دستگاه پاستوریزاتور میشه و کلیه باکتریای بیماریزا از بین میرن.
The corporation has the advantage of processing its own raw material of cereal grains, a unique feature among producers of non-alcoholic beverages in Iran. Most of the raw materials necessary for production at this facility are produced in Iran.
یکی از بهترین مزیت‌های شرکت بهنوش ایران وجود فرایند فراوری مالت هست که به جز ما یک شرکت دیگه از این امتیاز برخوردار هست.
Non-alcoholic malt beverages are considered by many to be healthy, with numerous nutritional benefits.
Here's an interesting fact about fizzy drinks. The carbonation process was first invented in the mid-1700s in England. That's where I'm from originally. But it wasn't commercialized until the late 1700s. Also, carbonated drinks were originally bottled, as canning was susceptible to explosions at that time. Dangerous stuff. The manufacturing or bottling plants that produce soft drinks have evolved a lot since then. Now you can find highly mechanized and efficient food processing facilities all across the world. How convenient.
This company has 9 production facilities spread across the country. Just to give an idea of how much this company produces in a day, we visited its central production facility near Tehran. This production facility has 4 production lines. Here, metal cans, plastic and glass bottles are circulated through and filled with the desired liquid in closed production circuits. Its central facility can produce hundreds of thousands of bottled beverages per hour, and for its soft drinks, it has a carbon dioxide production factory with a production capacity of 500 kilograms per hour.
بیش از 150 نوع محصول داریم یا بارکد کالایی، 11 برند هم مجموعه برندهای شرکت بهنوش ایران هست. خوشبختانه 15 خط تولید ما فعال هستش که به صورت شبانه روزی در زمان پیک تولید فعالیت می‌کنیم.
The company has created thousands of job opportunities, both directly and indirectly. It has excellent human resources and employs a variety skill sets, from experienced food research experts to engineers, among others. All these resources are used to create high-quality products that can be found all across the country, from grocery stores and restaurants to dining tables.
شرکت بهنوش ایران با استفاده از پیشرفته‌ترین دستگاه خط تولید بدون هیچگونه دخالت دست جهت تولید محصولات مشتری و نوشیدنی‌های طبیعی با حداکثر ظرفیت تولید به صورت 24 ساعته فعالیت می‌کنه و قطعات و تعمیرات نگهداری مورد نیاز جهت تعمیرات دستگاه تماما به صورت داخلی تامین میشه از تامین کننده‌های قطعات داخلی و مهندسین داخلی جهت تعمیرات و نگهداری دستگاه استفاده میشه.
It might be interesting to know that Behnush works closely with knowledge-based companies to manufacture various production machinery. It also collaborates with various academic institutions and research companies to expand and develop its products. One of the goals of this company is to further increase its productions along the lines of the government's National Increase in Productions Outlook Plan.
با برنامه‌ریزی‌هایی که انجام دادیم به یه رشد بیش از 3 رقمی در بخش تولید انشالله برسیم. کاملا این بضاعت رو برخوردار هستیم، ضمن اینکه به اشتغال کمک می‌کنیم. به موازات افزایش تولیدمون در سال 99 خوشبختانه همزمان شبکه توزیعمون هم داریم گسترده می‌کنیم.
In 2018, the United States reimposed cruel economic sanctions on many of Iran's industries. However, Iran's food and beverage businesses were not included among them. While this industry was not directly affected, the sanctions have hindered exports and imports in some ways, mostly due to international banking restrictions. But one could say that the sanctions have been a blessing, as Iran has focused on tapping into its local potentials.
Much of the equipment and machinery necessary for the production of food and beverages in Iran are locally manufactured. Companies such as this one have successfully been able to manufacture machinery that would otherwise be imported. In this sense, Iran has reduced its dependence on foreign technology and incorporated its valuable science and mechanical engineering resources. These developments open new export opportunities for the country. Much of the food that is produced in Iran is made from raw material from domestic agricultural cultivation. The food and beverage industry is probably the most important part of Iran's economy, accounting for well over 20% of Iran's non-oil revenue. It is a sector of Iran's industries that is almost entirely privately owned, according to the Ministry of Industries, Mining and Trade. Also, the food and agri-food sector of Iran accounts for 15% of the country's industrial employment. According to the Agriculture Ministry of Iran, over 1.6 million tons of agri-food products were exported last year. These exports generated just under $900 million in foreign revenue. Iran exports its agri-food and beverage products to nearly all of its neighbors, but also it exports these goods to countries in Central Asia as well as a couple of European countries, such as Germany.
As you are aware, the recent coronavirus pandemic has been ravaging the world. Many countries experienced disruptions in food supplies amid panic buying. However, Iran was spared of such interruptions. In general, its agri-food products satisfy 85% of domestic demand. But when COVID-19 surfaced in February in the country, purchase by large customers such as restaurants and hotels, as well as distributions, were temporarily disturbed.
With the outbreak of the coronavirus and the Iranian New Year in spring, the government took strict measures to contain the spread of the infection. Restaurants, ceremony halls, weddings, and hotels were shut down for a period of time in an effort to battle the outbreak. This took a toll on the food and beverage industry, as their main customers were shuttered. As a result, the production of beverages fell by 30 to 40% relative to last year, according to Iran's Beverage Producers Association. Based on the same data, another contributing factor for the decrease in beverage production has been the price of sugar. The pandemic drew much attention to food safety and packaging. Food safety has always been an important issue regardless of the pandemic, which has brought the evolution of food packaging. Iran domestically produces much of the packaging for its food and beverage products. These days, packaging has evolved from a protective box into a complete product. In order to increase shelf life, safety, and variety in products, different types of packaging are necessary. There are many related trades now, and package developers work closely with brands in considering details such as design, color, and feel. Appropriate packaging also gives a competitive edge when it comes to exporting food and beverages to other countries.
Well, everyone, I shall take a break and pass the show over to my good colleague who is out there on the field. Take it away and teach us something new.
In the hot summer days, nothing can be more refreshing than having your favorite cold drinks. Dipping into a lake is a close second on my list. Anyway, although they are relatively easy to buy, they're not that easy to produce. And that's why in this week's feature program, I'm going to explore one of the best and largest companies in Iran and presumably in the world that produces a variety of different soft drinks. It is called Behnush, or drink well. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get going.
Behnush was founded nearly half a century ago. Since the Islamic Revolution in Iran, it's been one of the country's most prolific companies in producing non-alcoholic beverages and soft drinks. Today, The company is the largest of its kind in Iran and also a major exporter of beverages in the region. The company's main plant, along with its distribution center, is located near the capital Tehran, and it offers a wide range of products. Let's find out more.
خدمت این واحد تولیدی 55 سال هستش. جزو بزرگترین تولید کننده های پت تقریبا تو سطح ایران هستش با ظرفیت 36,000 بطر در ساعت یک خطمون تولید داریم و 6,000 بطر در ساعت خط دوم که ایرانی است و مجموع 42,000 بطر در ساعت ما اینجا ظرفیت تولید.
Alcohol-free beer has found favor with plenty of consumers across the world since it has much fewer calories compared to regular sugary soft drinks, which might help in maintaining weight goals, and also it's a healthier replacement for beer, as there's no risk of intoxication and its after effects. Both types of beer go through similar steps like making a mash and boiling the wort. Blending and fermentation happen in both of the processes. The main difference lies in the brewing phase, where a starch source is steeped in water and the resulting sweet liquid is fermented with yeast. At this stage, brewers employ some techniques to create alcohol-free beer that tastes just the same as regular beer, but with no alcohol content.
When it comes to non-alcoholic beer, the path to perfection begins with brewing process. Many factors impact the quality of the final product, from the purity of water, the quality of the ingredients, to the provenance of the hops, and many other factors, and how gently and thoroughly these ingredients are mixed together. But before brewing can take place, there is another stage prior to that, and that is called malting. Malting itself is the process through which barley is converted to malt. And it involves 3 to 4 main stages. First, cleaning, where barley is cleaned, obviously. And that means, the straw and the dust are removed from barley. And after that, steeping takes place to achieve an optimum moisture level. And after steeping, there is this process that is called germination or germinating. Barley is left in a room under controlled conditions for up to 5 days to germinate. And after this process, it gets dried up, which is called kilning the process. And after the process of kilning, the barley is now ready, or the malt is now ready to be stored in silos. And I will leave the rest to the brewmaster here with a mind-blowing 25 years of experience to explain the rest and what happens next for you. Stay tuned.
دانه مالت پس از اینکه وارد این قسمت میشه، ابتدا بوجاری میشه، بعد میاد وارد آسیاب یا میلینگ میشه، بعد از این کار وارد باسکول میشه، بعد از توزین میاد وارد قسمت پخت یا بروئری میشه. توی تانک مشتون قرار میگیره و دماهای لازم برای فعالیت آنزیمی به این مایع یا ورت داده میشه و بعد از اینکه نشاسته هیدرولیز شد و به حالت قندی در اومد، در حقیقت ورت منتقل میشه به مش فیلتر یا یه فیلتر پرس هستش، وارد به این قسمت میشه. فاز مایع از تفاله مالت جدا میشه. فاز مایع منتقل میشه به بویلینگ و به حالت جوش باید وارد بشه. تفاله مالت از سیستم خارج میشه و انتقال داده میشه به کامیون ها و به دامپروری منتقل میشه، فروخته میشه به دامپروری ها. مایعی که به تانک جوش وارد شده یا بویلینگ تانک، توی این تانک 90 دقیقه جوشونده میشه و تو همین مرحله رازک به مایع اضافه میشه.
Packaging involves drawing the product from a holding tank and filling it into bottles in a filling machine. The bottles are then capped, labeled, and packed into cartons or pallets. The first step is the initial bottle blowing process, during which bottles are inflated into their actual size and shape. And after they are filled, in order to pasteurize the bottles and the liquid inside them, they are heated indirectly using hot water and then they are dried.
Beverages is the first company in the world to produce non-alcoholic malt beverages by leaving out the fermentation phase of the process. Now, this unit is probably the first and the largest in the world
to produce such beverages and other carbonated soft drinks in PET bottles. It alone can produce up to 600,000 bottles a day. Now, let me give you some extra information about the brand's name, Delster. It has two parts, Del, which in English means stomach, literally, or belly, and Ster, which means desire or want. So it literally means what your stomach wants, right? And this brand name is really popular with Iranian people, so much so that more often than not, we use the term to mean a non-alcoholic malt beverage. I'm going to give you more information about this production line next.
Bottles are labeled after filling, and correctly labeled ones will then be packaged. Quality control personnel monitor all the stages of the process and make sure everything is in place before the bottles leave this department.
Well, after a long day, you can't really resist buying these drinks. These will tide me over through the scorching days of summer. And I think it's time to invite some friends over and have some fun.
Thank you for that wonderful report. Much appreciated. Now, for our last part of the program, we will take a look at some news and trends in the food and beverage industry as well as its related trades. Here we go. The food and beverage business provides a large variety of products to the market. Each item requires a certain type of packaging. Iranian researchers have been developing a particular type of nano packaging that can be used for fresh foods as well.
Researchers at Shiraz University have been studying gelatin and starch-based nanocomposite films. These films can be modified by nanocellulose, which can then be used for food packaging. According to a member of the research team, natural polymers can be improved with nanocellulose and thickened by clay nanoparticles. Nanoproducts are also less harmful to the environment. These types of packaging are useful for preserving the purity and quality of certain foods and beverages over time. Typically, the interior of packaging is sprayed with this item, which prevents the material of the package from chemically interacting with the food, which can change the taste.
An Iranian cargo ship arrived in the Venezuelan port of La Guaira late last month, which delivered an aid cargo shipment. This delivery was part of the cooperation framework between Iran and Venezuela.
Based on information from the Iranian consulate in Caracas, the shipment carrying food supplies is the 6th Iranian shipment to reach Venezuela in recent weeks. The Latin American country has been suffering from shortages of certain food products as a result of the US economic sanctions. This shipment follows a series of Iranian fuel cargoes which were delivered in late May 2020. The country has experienced a decline in gasoline production caused by the US blockade. The Venezuelan president has emphasized the importance of the cooperation agreements with Iran as an effort to offset the impacts of the US sanctions.
Some of you may know Iran is a tea-drinking nation. And get this, I was already a tea drinker fresh from the UK. Now, after several years of living in Iran, I'm a super-duper British Iranian tea drinker, and I cannot get enough of it. Anyway, in the last 4 months, about 78,000 tons of unprocessed tea leaves were purchased by the government from domestic farmers. This is part of the government's Guarantee Purchase Programme.
Of the total green tea leaves, well over 17,000 tons of processed tea were produced. This displayed a 16% increase compared to last year. According to the head of Iran's Tea Association, Habibullah Jahansaz, about 30,000 tons of processed tea are expected to be produced this year. This amount will satisfy approximately 30% of the domestic demand. Jahansaz said that Iran's domestic demand for tea is around 100,000 tons annually. Most tea in Iran is produced in the northern region near the humid coast of the Caspian Sea in 2 provinces. The spring harvest brings the most valuable tea leaves.
Well, that's it for today's thirst-quenching Bazaar. What is your favorite beverage? I told you mine, so let us know when you check out our Instagram page. Do leave us a comment or send us a message with your thoughts. We would love to hear more from you. I'm Samson Sees. See you next time on Bazaar.